All right.
Karlene.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. This is the August sales meeting of the Maximum One Greater Atlanta Woodstock branch, and it is Tuesday, August 18th. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Kim, Karlene, I'm going to throw it over to y'all.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I hope everybody's having a really very good and blessed day. I didn't have a lot of things to say this morning, but one thing I really want to point out is it is so important for everyone to please vote. If you have not registered, or if you're not a registered voter, it's not too late to still register. But never, probably in my lifetime, has there ever been a time that is more important to have your voice heard and your vote counted. So please, please, please register to vote. If you are not sure how to do it, just call me and I'll talk you through it and, find out, where you live and what area you would need to be voting in. And I can help you find your polling places. A lot of them have changed. So if you need help with that, just let me know.
We just did an absentee ballot for our son, and it was really easy. He just filled it out and emailed it to them to request that because he'll be at college, so he can vote. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. That's
easy.
really
Yeah.
good. Also, is now the time that we need to talk about if we're going to try to meet in September?
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to have everyone's feedback about what you think about us having in September, which would have been our normal tailgate. I still believe that the SEC is going to play. That's from what I've been told. Praise God, somebody's going to play. So how do you feel about having a cookout and our first, we survived the Corona cookout something in September? How do y'all feel about that?
Don't forget it's COVID-19, not Corona. Just say.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, well, we were thinking about having people bring their chairs, and that way, if we had literally had the meeting outside and the cookout, people could social distance as much as they wanted to, rather than trying to have it in, the meeting room.
I think that would be great. Paulding's having theirs today. They have a varsity food truck there. And so that's what they're doing today. They're out in the parking lot, socializing and social distancializing and enjoying and eating. So I think that'd be wonderful. I think it'd be a great back to work.
Back to life.
I was gonna say back to school, but that's changed.
Yeah.
But, I think it'd be fun tailgating. I think it'd be awesome.
Okay. All right, then that's what we'll plan to do, okay? Does anyone have anything they'd like to share about that? I mean, if they have any concerns or...
What's the date?
It'll be for our team meeting in September. So what is that, the third Tuesday?
The third Tuesday.
Okay, so the 15th?
I'm looking right now. It would be...
Yes.
Yes, the 15th.
Okay.
Andrew, are you available that day?
Oh yeah.
The grill.
Mark it on your calendar.
Maybe a beer or 6.
Or 2 or 3.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay, Kim, do you have anything?
Hey, can you share that date again?
September
It's September
15th.
15th or 17th?
15th.
Tuesday.
Okay, good. Hey, I just won't be passing. I won't be passing the microphone now.
I'll just keep it the whole time, John.
There you go. That's what I was thinking.
Are we doing this at 11?
I was thinking to do the meeting at 10 and then start eating around 11, just because even though it's September, we don't want it to get hot.
Yeah, that's true.
Cindy, we just changed this one to 11 because we're doing the Zoom classes, the Zoom meetings. I can only do one at a time. And originally I had Douglasville at 10, but we ended up changing theirs. But that's why you guys in Douglasville keep getting changed. And I apologize, but that will end after September.
So we usually normally always did our in-house meetings at 10.
10.
Okay.
Okay, Dana, I think I think we're good. I do have some giveaways at the end for the 3 of you that are on here. We don't have to draw.
All right, I just have a couple of things. One is, if you guys have read the Sunday emails, it doesn't affect you guys personally, but just so everybody is up to speed with everything, Dave is building a brand new Mega Maximum 1 office that is near the Paulding Wellstar Hospital. And we are combining forces of West Cobb, Paulding, and Douglasville. So those 3 individual branches, as we know them now, are closing, and we are going to amalgamate and combine forces all in one building. So phase 1 of that, Dave's going to build the building, and it is going to be just an enormous building with tons of parking, an outdoor seating area with fire pit and gas grill, and a wing for teams, and it's just going to be, we're really excited about it. And obviously for Woodstock agents, you guys have business in that Cobb Paulding area, so y'all are of course more than welcome to use it. If any of you have been to the Powers Ferry office, it's going to be more, it's going to be upscale along the lines of that those are. So phase 1 of that is the Douglasville branch and the West Cobb branch, as we know them, will be closed September 30th. We are encouraging all agents, including you guys, to use BankShot for your deposits, for earnest money and commission. And what we are doing for earnest money checks for DA pickups, because if you guys have a closing in one of those areas, I know you guys, we make it available to all agents to pick up an earnest money check for DA closing at the closest office. So we're closing those offices September 30th. The Paulding office is going to be HQ for those 3 offices until the new building gets built and open. If it's convenient for you to go by the Paulding office and pick up your earnest money check, if you have a closing in the area, feel free to do so. If your closing is in Woodstock with Andy and Christina, Kim will still print them and you can pick them up there. What we are offering moving forward is, and this will be for you guys too, we are going to mail the earnest money check to the closing attorney for your DA, or we could wire it. If we wire it, there is a fee, a $35 fee. We're looking into finding a cheaper way to do that so we don't have to add that fee on. But for mailing, we're going to do that. So we need your DA request with a compliant file at least 7 business days prior to your closing so that we can mail the check. And again, that is for you guys as well. You guys are, even though we're not moving the Woodstock office, obviously we want to make everything available to you guys. So I wanted to announce that. Also, I think I've said it last meeting, all the CE classes through the end of the year are going to be virtual, but as you guys as we've just discussed, you are more than welcome to have in-branch meetings, workshops, cookouts, things like that. Whatever you guys want to have, just let me know that. Governor Kemp passed a law August 5th protecting businesses. And Christina, I'll share that email with you too. I think John, you guys work out of your home. John and Christina, you guys work out of your home. So I don't think you need this, but for Christina and Andy, I'll share this email with you. But basically, Governor Kemp has passed a law that protects businesses, and you have to have a sign. The letters have to be an inch tall that basically say, it is a disclosure to the public that you are entering at your own risk. You are in charge of your own health concerns. And if you get COVID, not Corona, Cindy, but COVID-19, the business that you enter, the business premises that you enter has no liability. So again, that is a law that Governor Kemp just passed August 5th. It's House Bill, I don't remember the number, but Christina, like I said, you're probably already aware of it, but if not, I will send you the email and a copy of the law. And we had a template made, so we're having signs printed. In order for the letters to be an inch tall, it is 18 by 24, so it's a big old sign. But we are going to be posting that on all of the Maximum 1 branches. So we're excited about that. So the next question is, well, how does that apply to your listings or your open houses? Again, this is for places of business. So again, I encourage you guys to have that discussion with your sellers and with your buyers. In the reference section of Paperless Pipeline, we do have a lot of disclosures that your clients can sign. And I still probably encourage you to take a look at those and have that discussion with your clients regarding those issues, and get something in writing from your clients, your buyer clients, and your listing clients regarding showing property, and if you have a listing, having people enter your property. So wanted to mention that. Back to the classes, we have some fabulous classes coming up, and again, please take advantage of them being virtual. We have tomorrow at 10 a.m. an effective negotiating class taught by another one of our affiliated closing attorneys, Amy Davis, and she does not teach that class that often, so that's going to be a great one. We have a mobile apps class next week, which we don't offer that often. I'm teaching weird contract forms next Thursday, which is the listing agreements, buyer brokerage agreements, everything except for the purchase and sale and financing agreements. The end of September, I'm going to be teaching a fair housing class, which we have not offered in years and years and years because the instructor that used to teach it had passed away. So I have picked up the outline and brought it current with the current laws, and I'm going to add in a feature about service animals. So looking forward to teaching that. Trying to think what else. Nothing else I can think of specifically. Oh, I do have one thing. You listing agents, this is hot off the press as of this morning. And Zillow, and again, we all have a love-hate relationship with Zillow, but the people with Zillow that I deal with are not the iBuyer arm of Zillow. They are the agent services, broker services division of Zillow. Zillow has, and I know, Karie, you've got some photo opportunities as well, but Zillow is offering a new program, and it is a photo package with 3D photos and floor plans. For those of you that have been with us for a long time, we used to have a program called Planomatic that was amazing for listing agents. They would come into a resale home. We're used to getting floor plans for new construction. They would come into a resale home, measure it, do all that kind of stuff, and make a floor plan for your resale listings. It was fabulous. Well, Zillow has a new program calling it Zillow Floor Plan in 3D. They have a package of 30 photos with includes the 3D photos and the floor plan. And I don't know if I'm allowed to reveal the price to you now, but I'll let you know it's under $200 for that package for 30 photos through September. There is a live interactive Zoom meeting about it next Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. I just put that on the calendar. I'll get the Zoom link later today. But, and again, Karie, I'm not trying to step on your toes. It's just another package since we are a Zillow broker. But again, for you listing agents, that is just a really cool deal if you want that with the floor plan. There are other options for professional photography for your photos. I will mention too, we've had an issue lately with photographs and you listing agents. You guys, you cannot copy and paste. If you get a listing and the listing had already been on FMLS, you cannot copy and paste those photos. They are copyrighted. They are not yours to use for a listing if it had already been listed. We have a a major deal. We're going to get it all worked out right now. But you either need to take your own photos or get photos directly from your seller if they have them. Now, in the FMLS listing agreement, it specifically states that if the buyer takes or pays for the photo, I'm sorry, if the seller takes or pays for the photos, they belong to the seller. If the agent takes or pays for the photos, they belong to the listing agent. So that is a provision in the GAR listing agreement that came out a couple of years ago. And one other note on the listing agreements and the buyer brokerage agreements, I have just done 2 videos on the protected period in both of those agreements. Vastly different from the listing agreement to the buyer brokerage agreement. Last week in Sunday's email, I posted the listing agreement protected period information. This Sunday is going to be the protected period in the buyer's brokerage agreement. But if you go to my YouTube channel, Real Estate Made Crystal Clear, they're already posted there. The buyer's agreement one came out this morning. You can check them out there. And I think that's it. You're muted. Okay. Okay, there you go.
I just want to ask a question. If the seller did pay for them, if the seller and they paid for the pictures and then they withdrew the listing and relisted it and they paid for those photos and they want to give them to the agent, then can the agent use them?
Absolutely, but you need to get them from the seller. You can't just copy and paste them from FMLS.
Okay, just want to clarify.
And because that was one of the issues that is with the ongoing issue right now is the seller told our listing agent that they were the seller's photos, but we didn't have any proof of that. So if you do that, absolutely, just get something signed from the seller saying, I gave Karlene the listing photos, so that if the funny thing is the previous agent that had it listed now has a buyer for it and saw it in FMLS and said, those are my pictures. But actually, I think they're going to end up doing a co-op deal, which is hilarious. But so yes, you could do that. Just get it in writing that you did get the pictures directly from the seller, rather than just, copying and pasting from FMLS. So that if a former listing agent does come back to you, you'll have that written proof and verification. But great question. I think that's it, everybody.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, now we're going to go to John.Bohannon, and then we will get with Karie and the other John. Okay, so
And Christina.
I'm so sorry, Christina. We'll go to John.Bohannon and then Christina. Okay, and then we'll get you, John G. Okay, John Z. I'm sorry. I'm just getting everybody's names wrong today.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's how it goes.
So I left these at the office. If you guys get by there, you might want to grab one. They've got great marketing info in there. I've been dropping them by every month, but I just want to let you guys know, since we didn't have a lot of interest in doing the monthly break, or well, I guess it wasn't breakfast, but lunch meeting. I'm still putting these out. So
Plus, you have this great picture
plus
of John.
you can like really humiliate me with these kind of pictures. So it just is what it is,
Yeah.
But I just wanted to share a couple of things out of this book that I thought were really insightful and just good reminders. So many times we know things, but we kind of maybe don't do them, or we just forget. So I just wanted to share those. But first, I always like to start out with a little bit of inspiration, because God knows we could all use a little. So these are quotes for your contemplation, which are on page 3. We always start out the booklet that way. The first one, it says, the man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life. And the person that said that was Charles Darwin. Kind of interesting. The next one is by Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, if life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. The next one is by Oprah. Really thought this one was awesome. It says, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. I really thought about that, because we don't get what we deserve. We get what we negotiate for and what we ask for and what we believe that we can do. So I thought that was really, really just kind of hit me at the right time. And then the next one is by Mario Fernandez. It says, "Rise above the storm and you will find the sunshine." And we've all flown on planes, and I've come out of like where, you know, you're like, oh, this is the dreariest, bleakest day ever. And you get up high enough and then it's just beautiful. So we've kind of had a storm and now we're experiencing some sunshine, but I think we can all just remember to keep, you know, working on rising up. I guess I'm stealing that from the Falcons, but anyway, maybe we'll get to rise up that way too. So anyway, that's on page 3. The next thing, which we always talk about, are pop-up ideas. I know I talk about these a lot, but these were some really great ones. And if you haven't tried it, I just encourage you, you know, a lot of people are still working from home. And I really believe they're more effective now than ever because people are happy. If you give them a heads up, which that's the best practice, is give them a heads up, say, hey, can I come by? And you don't do it for everybody. You just do it with your favorite clients who refer you people that you want to show some appreciation with and connection with. Sunblock was right here, and you can get sunblock super cheap, you guys. And you can put a sticker on there that says, and this is really important in this market right now, it says, don't let your friends and family get burned in this market. Refer them to me and I'll make sure they get all the protection that they need. I think that's really good because like I'm seeing people that I did loans for like 4 years ago have $100,000 of equity in their house and they're rolling it over into another property. And I'm also seeing houses be listed for sale that aren't getting offers because they're getting overpriced on the listing. So I just think that one really struck me because people are getting burned right now. They're either underselling or overlisting or overpricing, I should say. And I know you guys wouldn't do that. So I thought that one was really good. The next one is a lot of people are going to the beach now. You know, the beaches are opening. I've had people going to the beach constantly the last 3 or 4 weeks because kids are still at home and they can do remote school, a lot of them. So a beach ball says, I'm always on the ball to help you and your referrals with their real estate needs. I thought those are really great. They're things that add value and people like to have them around because, you know, you always like to have a little bit of sunblock or, you know, a toy for your kids. The next thing I wanted to talk about is being authentic. What we've seen in marketing, the last trend that I don't think is going to go away is being yourself. And I've talked about that at some of the branding classes that I've done. And a lot of times we're a little bit hesitant to be ourselves because we think, well, people, if they really knew me, they may not like me as much. And I'm seeing that people, you know, and I know you guys have already heard all this before, but I just want to encourage you guys to keep being authentic. And the notes on this and to think about it are like, what are you excited about? Like we were all sharing our dogs a little bit ago. Like that's a great way to connect with people is like, we love our dogs. We love our pets. They love us. So if you can connect with people with whatever you're excited about, you're going to touch an excitement point for somebody else. So I just want to encourage you guys to think about like, what are you excited about? What's your motivation? When you get up in the morning, like, what are you hoping to accomplish? And let that kind of go through your thoughts and be intentional with it. And then also you can think about what do you want to be known for in your community? And in thinking about that, I made some notes because the more that you can specialize in something, the more that people will remember you. And that's really the point, pardon me, is to get people to remember you, because you've all had people say, oh, well, I just forgot you were in real estate. Like, what an annoying thing. I had somebody tell me that I did a really great loan for, John, I just refinanced to a 10-year mortgage. And I'm like, and you didn't call me? And he's like, oh, I forgot. I'm like, well, that's my fault. So I never advertised myself that I'm the 10-year mortgage specialist. So when he was looking for that, he didn't think about me. But there's a lot of things that you can specialize in just to create a memory point. Like, hey, I'm your new home expert. You can advertise, hey, I'm your, you know, COVID-19 safety expert. You could say, I'm the millennial buyer expert. I'm the downtown, Woodstock home buyer expert. Whatever it is, the more that you can think about what you're excited about and what you're enthused about, the more that, and then promote that and be consistent, the more you'll draw people to you just because they remember you. And then you'll get people that, I get people that still call me and they go, hey, do you do refinances by any chance? Strangely, might you possibly do a refi? I'm like, of course. Do you do investment property? Of course. But people don't always cross-reference if you specify that you're a listing agent, but at least they'll call you and they'll go, hey, do you work with buyers? Whatever the case might be. So just want to encourage you guys, keep focusing on specializing and keep focusing on what you are personally excited about, because that will help trigger people and make a connection. It's really about just connecting with people, not trying to be, for them to think of you as a generalist, because they tend to forget.
We just purchased some software that we're rolling out that has to do with that, with touch points with people. So Movement has some good software, but we want a great software, that's constantly touch points with people. And we ran a test. I think we had to send out like 10 texts. It was like, hey, your home has this much equity in it. And out of 10 texts, some people responded, some didn't. But like one guy like texted us back and was like, or actually he called right away and said, hey, yeah, I was actually thinking of refinancing. Thanks for like reaching out to me and letting me know. So like 1 out of 10, that like bad. Almost pays for the software right there. So it's just investing in things also that will make touch points. And it's a pain because our whole team is like, we got to learn this and do these loans, but it's, it's going to pay off to have that new software there. That's going to it's pretty cool. Like it has where agents can download, we put in the max approval. You guys can go in and like download the approval letters like that. So, we're trying to invest to really reach out to your clients and our clients both.
And keep them connected with you. One of the things that the software is going to do, which I'm really excited about, is that every $25,000 increment that their home appreciates by, it's going to send them a celebration text and an email that's co-branded with you and with us. And we sent out like 4 of them yesterday that where people's homes had gone up $100,000, which is why I was thinking about it earlier. And we're promoting you to them, saying, hey, you need to be thankful to your realtor. And I'm not going to quote it exactly right here, but it says, your realtor did an amazing job helping you buy this house, and it's gone up $100,000. If you're thinking about using that money, call your realtor back and get them to help you, because they helped you with the investment in the beginning, and they'll help you capitalize on the best way to use that money now. So we're really excited about pushing out more marketing to help you guys reach your clients. Even if they call us first, we want to bounce them back to you always, because that's the reason why we got them. So we're super excited about helping you reach back out, because it's all about staying in front of them. Had 2 other things I just wanted to share. Every month in this booklet, it has a written checklist of people that you could reach out to, and it's got every day of the week. And it's got every possible sphere that you could think of. And there's a quote in the book that I think is really pertinent. It says, what gets measured gets done, but if you can't measure it, you cannot improve it. And a lot of times it's easy to get busy with things and let the crucial things that got us the success to start with kind of fall by the wayside. So just wanted to point that out. I think it's a really good reminder to keep checklists. In the mortgage business, we have to do that. And we have to constantly fit things back in that get crowded out. So that's all I'm going to say on the book. But if you want to grab it, it's at the office for a low price of $9.95. Just kidding, they're free. Next, we'll talk about mortgage stuff. I would just want to highlight a couple of things for people that may have not been on the calls before, but our company is now servicing 100% of all of our mortgages except for jumbo loans. Jumbo loans, we don't service all of those. We service about 50%. We service every loan that we do, which means we're not going to sell it. Also, it means the customer later, if they want to put more money down, or if their home goes up in value, we can drop the PMI, or we can even recast their mortgage and change their monthly payment based off of a bigger down payment that they might make. So I'm having a lot of people.
Will you go over recasting again? Because I think that is a fabulous tool for agents to reach out and touch their past clients, especially depending on when they bought and what the interest rates are now. I think that is just an amazing thing, and I don't think everybody understands what that means.
Of course. So a mortgage, it goes back to, and I'm going to be like really blunt right here. So if you've ever looked up what mortgage means, it means debt for life. Okay. Honest to God, look it up. It comes from a French word, like mortuary, and gage is debt. So it's debt for life. That was what the whole tool was created for. I'm sorry I'm in that business, but I didn't have a choice. So the way that people stay in debt for life is all of the interest is paid in the first part of the mortgage. Usually in the first 10 years, you pay 40% of the total mortgage debt in the first 10 years. So the other 20 years after you've probably sold it or refinanced it is when you start paying a lot of principal off. So what's awesome about a recast is if you pay down the principal significantly, we will either let you lower your payment to what the new term of what the new amount would be, and we can keep it on your current monthly part. Or your current amortization schedule is what I'm trying to say, on your current monthly part of principal versus interest, which would help you pay it off faster. Or so you can stay where you're at if it's important for you to keep the payment lower or even the same. Or if you pay a lot off, we can change the term to either a 15-year or a 10-year or 20-year. You pick however many more years you want to pay it off. And the proportion that you're paying of interest goes a lot lower the shorter your term of your loan is. And just to give you some ideas, on a 20-year loan, you're paying about between 55 and 60% of the total mortgage debt compared to a 30-year loan. So you're saving between 55 and 60% less interest. Okay. If you switch to a 15-year loan, you're paying 1/3 of the interest that you would pay on a 30-year fixed. And a lot of times we don't know that because the math doesn't match up with the years. And that's where it's so powerful to know this, because you think, well, a 20-year loan is a third less, so it's a third less interest. Well, it's not. It's 60 to 55% of the interest. And then a 15-year loan, you would think, oh, it's half the interest. It's not. It's a third. You're only paying 1/3 the interest. So you can do that without refinancing.
But it's just a small fee, I think. It's like
a $300 fee.
300 versus like paying all the closing costs again. Movement will do that for just a small fee.
All right.
Yeah, and then it's just like a huge help for buyers who have a house to sell but can qualify for both, and they just don't want to incur that closing cost again. It's literally only a $250 to $300 fee to do the paperwork to recast that loan. So we're excited about that. Thanks for asking us to explain it, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that. Okay. Next thing, just want to highlight a couple things. We will do loans down to a 620 credit score. A lot of banks are at 640s or 660s. We'll go down to a 620 on every loan. The next thing I want to talk that's very interesting, I think is important for y'all to know this, interesting, is that we will, if you have a loan that's dying somewhere, okay?
Or stagnant.
Or
We've got that too, where it's been underwriting for 30 days and it's not out at X, Y, Z.
I just had one where it'd been a month at the bank and it hadn't even gone into underwriting yet. So anyway, we will close a rescue loan in 21 days to help keep your contract in place so that you don't lose a deal. So that's from the day the buyer applies. We've saved enough processing and underwriting time to be able to offer that to you guys so that you don't have deals, falling apart with no solution. Normal loans close in 30 days. And that's from the day that we get all the documents in our hands to get it
purchase deals.
turned in.
Yeah,
right. Purchase deals are 30 days. Underwriting is running about 7 days from the day we get all the documents turned in to when they review it. And then we can usually close in 30 days with no problem. I haven't missed a closing date yet.
We have not. I'm so proud. Yeah, I'm so proud of our team because we literally have not missed a closing date.
Haven't missed one yet. So we're super grateful about that.
Yeah.
Part of how we're doing that is we're making refis wait 60 days because they already have a roof over their head, that they've got everything in place for their family, so their life is not being turned upside down. So we said, well, let's have them close in 60 days. and then purchases get 30 days.
We're even closing them a little sooner than 60
Yeah, I mean,
days.
sometimes we do. Yeah, sometimes we do, for sure.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to share a couple other things. I mentioned about our underwriting turn times. They're 7 days from the day we get everything. Initially, appraisals are running 7 to 10 days. With our company, normally it runs about 7, but occasionally it can take up to 10 calendar days. VA loans take 8 days. And then we also are seeing, with people putting anywhere from 20 to 25% down, then oftentimes they don't need an appraisal. So you can still have one if you want one, but it's not a requirement.
Yeah, we can waive that. And we're even doing the high balance VA loans, which is a pretty cool thing through Tidewater, right?
Yeah, it's a neat thing. So there's a new guideline that came out in January where there's no loan limit on a VA loan. So if the veteran wants to borrow $3 million, we can literally loan them $3 million.
Andrew, we got you on that $3 million house you're buying. We got you on that, okay? We got that VA high balance loan for you. All right.
Yeah. He's thinking about it. I can see. He's thinking about it.
So John, is that all VA loans, or is that a different kind of qualification for the veteran?
It's it started with the Navy. Okay, and then all the other armed forces adopted it just a short while after. It started in like December, and by January, all the armed forces adopted it.
It's just a great deal for a jumbo loan for a veteran. It's an amazing
phenomenal.
deal.
Yeah.
Can you guys, and I don't mean to be putting you on the spot, so we might wait till next month.
I love being on the spot.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit? There is still a lot of unknowns, and we need help. Our agents need help in talking to their sellers about accepting a buyer with a VA loan, because the loan exhibits are very vague regarding there are certain costs that the VA borrower is not allowed to pay and the seller must pay, but it's so vague that our agents need help in discussing what kind of dollar amount are we talking about. Are we talking about a few $100s, or are we talking about thousands? Now, in some of in the RE forms VA loan or contract itself, it does say that if the costs exceed what the seller was expected to pay, the seller can terminate. But we're having, if you could just help our agents with the verbiage to talk to their sellers, to help our sellers actually accept VA loans, because they're awesome loans. It's a great perk for our veterans, and I know those are the fewest foreclosed upon loans. So that would be helpful if you could talk about the fees and tie that into closing costs.
Yeah, and what I would say is, if you'd like, we can do a separate Zoom call about that, because one thing that I was thinking I'd like to start doing is, like, at least once a month or maybe even twice a month, a specialty topic. It wouldn't be CE related, but it's just practical everyday things that will help agents be able to, okay, perfect. All right. So if you could send me those RE forms and then the GAR forms, I can use those specifically for that. But I'll just tell you guys, the only cost right now that our company, and I don't want to talk about all mortgage companies because every mortgage company's got slightly different rules, but I will say the vast majority, the only fee that the buyer cannot pay for is the termite letter. That's the only thing that's hard and fast across all banks. Buyers can pay for discount costs. Buyers can pay for underwriting. Buyers can pay for appraisal. Buyers can pay for processing. They can pay for all those things. It's just if the bank chooses to charge them or not. And most banks that do VA loans don't charge processing or underwriting. Our company doesn't. And so because of the competition of, like, all of the big VA banks don't charge processing and don't charge underwriting, the discount points are completely optional if the buyer wants them or not. I have never had a deal fall apart because of closing costs or because of anything fee related. So that's the only thing that is a not really even a scary thing, is the termite letter cost. So I hope that helps, and we can, if you'll send me those forms, Dana, I'd love to teach a class in more depth on that, so that agents won't be scared to accept the VA offer, because, like, the veterans, veterans have some of the highest income of all of the loans. Like Dana said, they have the lowest default rate. They have some of the lowest debt to income ratios. There's just, veterans generally are the leaders in business and in culture because of all of the stress and struggle they went through. they learn how to manage their affairs and be successful. So I love veterans. I love VA loans. I think they are phenomenal
Love
tools.
the VA loans, yeah.
Thank you so much.
One of the things I will just caution listing agents about on a VA loan, the GAR VA loan exhibit has undergone a myriad of changes since 2014. The latest version that just came out, I see you're clapping, Andrew, is it says not only must the seller provide a termite clearance letter dated within, I think it's 90 days on the so the exhibit, it also says that the lender, so I imagine this is lender specific, it says the lender may require, and I don't know if that means lender / appraiser or lender, may require if there is previous damage, if there's damage from previous infestation, the lender may require that be repaired, and that would be a seller cost. That is new verbiage in 2020 on the GAR VA loan exhibit. It's not on the RE form one, but it is on GAR.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, good to know. Yeah, so there's that potential for cost. Hopefully, hopefully the seller would want to do that anyway, but I realize some may not. But that's a great point. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Any other questions on VA while we're parked there for a minute? I'm happy to take them. Okay. All right. So let's see. I had a couple other things. Just overall market. Wanted to mention unemployment is low and getting lower. It's not, I won't say it's low. It's decreasing. So as of August the 7th, unemployment had decreased down to 10% according to the U.S. Labor Bureau. Okay, so I didn't get off the news. I went and looked up in the U.S. Labor Bureau, and that's what they are counting as our unemployment. And we had 1.8 million new jobs created as of last week. So predictions seem to be coming true that we're going to have the shortest recession in history. So far, you know, it's been amazing how quick things have rebounded, and I hope and pray and believe they're going to keep going that way. Interest rates are still phenomenal. The Federal Reserve Bank is buying somewhere between $2 to $4 billion of mortgages per day, so that's really helping. Also want to mention, just so you guys are aware, the Federal Housing Finance Authority governs our industry. It's easy to get their name mixed up with FHA, but think of how HUD governs you guys at a global level. The Federal Housing Finance Authority governs us at a global level. And one thing they did last week on Thursday with no notice is they said that they were going to raise the cost on all mortgages that close after September that are refinances. So that means loans that were currently in the pipeline, banks are having to pay a half a point on, which that's like a half of a, like, it'd be like, so, you know, like a half of a % of your commission is having to give that up. That's what they're telling banks. All banks are going to have to do on loans that are closing on just only refinances. So rates are still a great time to refinance, but the purchase interest rates now are a little bit lower than the refi interest rates because refi interest rates went up.
And we put something on the Rockstars about that, where you could help us out by going to actually write to the congressman, about saying, like, please repeal this tax. It's a bad time in the economy. People need their payments lowered. Like, people are refinancing because they're struggling. We don't need to make refinances harder for someone to do.
Right.
So if you wouldn't mind, like, you can search John names, but go in there and, like, you can just fill that out and just tell them to repeal that. But the mortgage industry and Mortgage Broker Association, we're fighting that hard because it's just not fair to punish people who are refinancing versus people who are buying. You know, they need their payments lower right now. So, and they literally gave us no notice. They rolled it out, and it's not just us, it's literally like across the board.
Every bank.
Every bank.
Refinances.
So it's, like I said, it's still a great time. We're still refinancing people, but we just need that. It's basically a tax.
It's a tax.
It's a tax. They've taxed.
The extra money goes to the finance, the Federal Housing Finance Authority. That's who gets it.
Right. They want their pockets lined a little bit more. Yeah. And so if you could help us out by just, like, taking 2 minutes, there's 2 minutes to just click on that and ask them to repeal that. That would be very helpful for us and your buyers.
Yes.
Thank you so much. As usual, y'all always bring us lots of great information.
Oh,
so now we're going to go over to Christina quickly, and then we'll move on to John Z. Okay,
Christina?
Christina?
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to actually get back to something that was discussed at the last meeting I attended. And that was a question I think Kim had asked about a landlord-tenant situation, a potential tenant where the landlord was concerned because this potential tenant had 5 children and it was a 3-bedroom house. And so I had answered the question, maybe a landlord could say that's too many. Dana, actually, I'll say in that instance, the answer really should have been no, which is what Dana said, because he was specifically saying children. The answer maybe is if you have a situation where there are 7 people. If your landlord is saying, I'm worried about the number of children, there's your red flag. If children is the concern, then, just, that the answer is you can't make a decision based on whether they're children or adults. But the key for how many people can you have in your rental and what kind of limits can you set on that? There's a memo that was issued by HUD called the Keating memo, and it gave guidance saying a good rule of thumb is 2 people per bedroom. So 3-bedroom house, 6 people would be a reasonable maximum for a landlord. But it is just a rule of thumb. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's a guideline. So you have to look at the specifics of the property. You might have a bedroom that is a tiny little closet sized bedroom where really only one person can stay in, and that's okay if you got that basis for why you're saying one person per this bedroom. You also might have other rooms in a house that could be used as a bedroom. So you've got a den or a separate living room or something else that could qualify as a bedroom. You might not be listing it as such, but you need to factor that in as a landlord in determining how many people is your maximum. You also might have a large room. There's a big bunk space where you could have 3 or more people in that room. So the other thing to look to, state and local codes and guidelines. We talked about that last time. What's the septic capacity? So if you've got a home that has some septic issues and you have reason to believe that 7 people might be too many using that septic system, that could be a reason as well, but it can't be tied to it being a family or there being children in the family. Some companies use a standard of 2 per bedroom plus 1. So a 1-bedroom unit could have 3 occupants. A 2-bedroom unit could have 5 occupants. And that's another thing. But I think the key for landlords is to consider that occupancy in advance. So they're not seeing the family with a whole bunch of kids and thinking, oh, that's too many. And then it looks like you're making the decision based on children as opposed to that's just too many people in this space. Also just being kind of practical. So you've got the 1-bedroom unit that you are renting to the young couple, and you've decided there's a 2-person limit. It's a 1-bedroom unit and you're going with the Keating memo, 2 people per bedroom, and they have a baby. Well, do you want to be the landlord kicking them out when they have a brand new baby who can clearly share that bedroom? So your landlords need to be thinking about that. Now, there may be a point at which they can say, okay, now you're exceeding the occupancy limits, but there have been some cases on that. And there have been some challenges about this recently, just in general occupancy limits. So your landlords do need to be mindful of it and be looking to make a determination prior to renting. They shouldn't have an area if they have a multifamily, like you don't put all the families in one building, don't have amenities that families can't use without having amenities for everybody. So need to be mindful that decisions aren't being based on the fact that it is a family versus people in general, adults, whether they be adults or children. So I just wanted to clear that up, that, you know, the answer, my baby was to the more general question, is 7 people too many in a 3-bedroom unit? My answer is still maybe, looking at the unit itself. But Dana's definitely right. If you've got a landlord who's saying, I'm concerned that this is too many children, you know, pay attention to that and tell your landlord that's not a reason. Any questions? And this is not my area of expertise, but if I don't know the answer, I will definitely do some research and try to get an answer for you.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for getting back with us on that. I appreciate that.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. I'm sorry it took a little while to get back to you on it, but I drafted an email and I thought, well, great, I'm gonna, you know, I'll wait and present it at the next meeting, and then the next meeting for me that I could attend is today.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. They already told him they couldn't move in because there's too many children. I'm just kidding.
Well, then you just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Kim, that's what you heard hypothetically, right?
Right, exactly. All right, Karlene, you want to...
And so really that was all I wanted to jump in and talk about, kind of give an update on that. Also the state of emergency has been extended. The judicial emergency has been extended into September. So we are still able to do video closings. We have not had many requests for that. Generally, once people find out what it entails, they are declining doing that and finding other ways. But it is still an option if you have a client who needs that.
Well, good. Well, thank you so much, Christina. We appreciate it. And
You're
we hope
welcome.
to see you at our cookout. We're going to have a cookout in September. So plan to
September
be there.
15th.
That's
Yes.
it. Okay, John.
And I have ammunition now for teaching my fair housing class next month. So thank you. More content.
You're welcome.
John Z.
Hey,
Okay, we're going to you now. And then we're going to go to
Good.
Karie. We'll end it.
let me just make sure I'm okay, I'm good.
There you are.
Hey, I just wanted to thank John and Christina. They helped me refinance 2 homes. It was the smoothest process and got it done relatively quickly. It's not 60 days, John. You guys got it done quick.
He's going conservative. That's why I had
Yeah.
to throw that in there a little bit.
I have to
Thanks for the commercial.
Thanks.
Yeah, no
Real
problem.
live customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Hey.
under promise so that you can over deliver.
Okay, well,
My
thank
mama
you.
said.
Hey,
Thank
so
you
when
so
that,
much.
you know, I do pay attention to some of the trainings and stuff, and it's amazing. If we did more of what we learned, we would be much better off, you know, because John shaved 10 years off of each mortgage, and he's going to save me a ton of money. So thank you, and Christina. And John, it'd be good to put Christina's picture on the magazine. But
I know. Yeah. I never
But
said I
anyway.
was smart.
anyways, so in the world of home warranties, things are still cranking along.
John, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Christina Adams, we have a question related to the number of people in the chat. Stefania asks, I believe in Kennesaw there's an actual local law about a max of 2 people per room. Also, how does all of this interact with HOA covenants limiting occupancy? What prevails?
So again, if you have state or local ordinances, you have to comply with those. But you do need to be careful, like if it's if Kennesaw has a rule of 2 people per room, is that per bedroom, and how do they define bedroom? And landlords need to be mindful that under fair housing, it's not just what you call a bedroom, it's what could be used as a bedroom. I don't think the kitchen's gonna be something that you could claim as a bedroom, but is there, you know, a bonus room, an extra space that could count as a bedroom, and whether or not you market it as such. So I think the same would hold true potentially under ordinances, depending how they're written. So you want to be reading them carefully, make sure you understand what they say. As far as HOA, that you would have to comply with your HOA covenants. And again, be reading them carefully to know what they say, but they should be written neutrally. I don't imagine you've got a covenant that's going to say you can't have more than this number of children, because that would potentially run afoul of the same issue in terms of fair housing. So just because something's in the covenants doesn't mean it's enforceable, and you don't want to be in violation of fair housing, and even though you may be complying with an invalid provision of an HOA declaration. But yes, I think as part of that, in advance, know what your limits are and know your basis for those limits without regard to whether they're adults or children. Same as what I was saying. So look at those local covenants, look at your HOA, comply with that, and make sure you're reading them carefully, that you're understanding, is it specific to bedrooms and how do they define that, so that you're interpreting those ordinances and covenants correctly.
Thank you. Okay, back to you, John. Sorry, I didn't apologize for the interruption.
Hey, no worries. No worries. It's all good. But I just wanted to remind everybody about the listing coverage for home warranties. Basically, my goal is to help you sell more homes. And I'm always going to be frank with everybody. I'm not going to tell you something that isn't true to make $12 on a warranty, because that's what we really make. So I need to do numbers of warranties. So I appreciate the people that are using me. And I know that, there are ways to take some of the little bonus or little nuggets you get and turn them into something good. And I was talking to one agent who was taking, Dane is so gracious that she gives the $100 compensable service fee. If you give us the brand names of the appliances or upload the inspection, she gives that to you. If you turn that into some marketing type dollars, whether it be this new Zillow thing where you can get 30 pictures and all that for less than or $200 or something, you can grow your business just by doing your business. So we will pay that fee within 14 days of closing and after we've been paid. I just want to remind everybody, though, that on the listing side, there's a lot of different people and a lot of different companies trying to get listings now. I mean, and more each day. Every time I turn on the news or listen to a satellite radio, just hearing something new. So you got to distinguish yourself in the listing presentation. And one of the ways you can do that is to make sure that your seller has a warranty. And one of the key things that we offer for our warranty is it's absolutely free. It's 2 years post-sale, $1,000 worth of legal protection for the seller for up to 2 years after closing. So it's a neat tool to distinguish yourself, and you can walk out of that home with a listing and basically protect them in case the buyer ever goes back to try and sue them. And we have all kinds of different marketing tools and stuff. There, when I look at what we have, it's a plethora of stuff, and I'd be glad to meet with anybody to discuss those with you. I don't want to do it on this call, but we can do it. I'm willing to meet virtually at this point. I haven't been out to too many offices just yet, maybe dropped off of some brochures here and there, but I'm in the hit zone, old and have had former heart problems. So I'm taking it a little slow. In fact, I'm up here at the cabin in Mineral Bluff, Georgia, in the mountains, looking out over the beautiful mountains up here. But I appreciate you guys. I will come back for your cookout, and Dana will have the mic and I'll spin the tunes. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I want to come see you about October. Okay, Karie, we're going to go to you now.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I enjoyed this meeting. It's have so much insight, and I appreciate being a part of this. So I just wanted to share real quick. Dana, I appreciate the information on what Zillow is offering on those photos. So Echelon, we don't actually go out and take photos. We receive the photos from the agents and are able to brand them for the agents and enhance them if there's some kind of lighting issues. but we highly recommend agents get professional photos. It makes a huge difference. It really does. Than just snapping some shots with your photos, because I really feel like it's just part of what we do, our agents do as listing agents for their clients, is really showcasing the properties as best they can. I understand when you have like the certain margins as far as listing price, but even getting photo enhancements. So that's really a great option that Zillow is offering. So certainly take advantage of it. And the agents can, if we're doing like a listing coordination for an agent, we can use those photos, brand them for them. But that's really a good thing. What we're seeing a lot of is agents needing help setting up their Chime and their Chime websites, their Chime CRM. That is phenomenal. I mean, what the agents get from Max One using those services is wonderful. The websites going on, personalizing, stuff like that, those things can take time. That's what Echelon does. Our goal is to help agents succeed. So their specialty is listing and selling, and the buyers and the sellers. And so we handle all of the paperwork, the branding, setting up social media, doing things like that. So we can do anything from logo design to setting up the social media platforms, as well as listing coordination, contract to close. There's really not a whole lot that we don't do as far as what the agents can do, but all of that behind the scenes paperwork and stuff like that the agents can get overwhelmed doing, instead of being out there selling and meeting new people and servicing their clients. So Echelon just really comes along and to just kind of take the baton and keep things rolling and going smoothly. So if anyone needs any help setting up their Chime, or if they haven't even started using their Chime, it's very simple. It's very, I think it's, Dana, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's $17 a month for both the Chime Me website and the CRM part of Chime. And that is great. So we can import all of your database, if it's in an Excel type of format or CDG or whatever you call that. We can upload that and those campaigns. So kind of like it's almost like rebranding or trying to get out there to where your past clients and even new leads that are coming in through your website or wherever you're driving them from, or Echelon can do that for you. We want to be able to touch people, but branding is a huge thing. So we've got to be able to, the agents have to be able to stand out in a crowd of other realtors. So how are they doing that? Do they have their own, logos? Do they have their brand colors? How are they standing out? And are they, touching those past clients and even the leads that are coming in? And so take advantage of the Chime that Maximum One offers for the agents, but certainly if you need any help with getting those set up, social media platforms, marketing that way, branding, and of course, listing coordination, contract to close, we can certainly help. So I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions about what we do? Or, oh yes, and I do. So I enjoy creating. So I make Lazy Susans. These are Karlene's holding up. That is what we do for closing gifts. So we can personalize it. You basically any way an agent wants it, whether it's wood burn or like this one. They're awesome gifts. Everyone that we've made those for and given those to, they have just enjoyed it. And if it's new homes, we can even maybe put like a little home on there with their coordinates of their new home. We can really customize them to fit any needs, and they're really inexpensive. So so that's another thing we offer is, making those. And so if anyone wants those, we can certainly help with that as well.
Okay, well, great. So does anyone have anything they'd like to add before we close for today?
Karlene, I've got a comment and a question. One more thing, you guys, y'all start learning Remind Docs. Our Docs is going away the end of September. They'll still be there, but you won't be able to create contacts in our Docs. You've got to go to Remind Docs. FMLS has online classes on it. I don't think they have a CE class yet. I did a video that I posted walking you through with screenshots. So I don't remember when I posted it, but you can find it on my YouTube channel. So I just wanted to remind you guys about that because October is going to come. August has flown by, July flew by. So September is really going to go by fast. And then John.Bohannon, we have a question from Steph. I have a question for John regarding VA loans. Any way you can have those pre-approved prior to making an offer? So basically, we could remove financing contingency and make those offers more competitive by leaving off the appraisal contingency. You're muted.
There we go. Had to unmute. So
we leave. I'm sorry for chiming in. We will leave the appraisal contingency only. We remove the financing, but we leave the appraisal because obviously that's going to occur at the second time, right?
Understand. So the answer to that question right now is no. And I hate to say that because our company built our whole company and our whole reputation on underwriting a loan first before a buyer found a property. But right now we have to have all of our underwriters underwriting live loans that are for purchases or for refinances. So we stopped as a company about 3 months ago or 4 months ago underwriting loans first. So you're still going to need to have that contingency in there for our company. I don't know of any other companies that are doing upfront underwriting because it's using resources in hopes that the buyer would get a loan, whereas all of those resources got reallocated at our company to doing refinances, because we had a whole database of customers that needed to take advantage of the low rates. So in that, we can't do it that way, but what I would say you could do is you could shorten the financing contingency, because we can get a loan underwritten in 7 days. So and it usually takes a buyer about 3 or 4 days to give us what they need. So you could shorten it down to where they gave me everything I needed, and I've closed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of loans. So I've learned a lot by mistakes. So I could tell you if the loan was solid and I could get it underwritten into underwriting software first, I just can't get a human underwriter to look at it for about 7 days. So you could do a really short financing contingency, have the buyer give a lot of earnest money, because usually a lot of earnest money means more to the seller than no financing contingency, because they can still back out during due diligence. Everybody knows that. So I think if you made a short due diligence and a short financing and now trying to get the loan into underwriting with a big earnest money, you could probably get the offer accepted pretty quick. Does anybody have, if I can open it up to the floor for a minute, because I know that I've heard other agents and I work with a lot of you guys that win highest and best pretty regularly. Y'all have any advice for her about that? No.
But we haven't gotten loans denied. I mean, I can brag on him. Literally, like Brandy and I, we pre-screen everyone. We collect all the documents. Like, we are hard on everyone. We're like, no, you haven't given me a complete pay stub. This is we're really tough on making sure we get everything we can think could be a condition. And then John reviews it. And then we have Jackie review it. And so literally it's going through 3 people before we even submit it to underwriting. You have 3 licensed loan officers that are reviewing every file. So we just don't get loans denied. We don't. I mean, he does a great job. I can brag on him, but we just don't. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
excuse me.
I'm sorry, Karlene. Well, just one more thing, and it came out in one of the Sunday emails, I think last month sometime. If you use Karie's services, not the setting up of Chime and not for the closing gifts, which if you put your name on it could be considered marketing and not a closing gift. But for the actual contract to close work, that would be using her services as an assistant. And per license law, you guys need a contract together, and I have to be, or Kim has to be, a party to the contract. So if that is your situation, let me know. I've got a whole package to send out for you, but that will keep all of us in compliance with license law. And Karie has put her contact information in the chat screen. I'm done now, Karlene.
And Dana, on that, is that form for the agents, for them to fill out if they're using us for like the listing coordination, the contract to close, is that also a GAR form? Is that the C007 form that the agents have to have completed?
They can use any contract they want. If an agent does not have their own contract or have an attorney draft a contract or whatever, that is one that they can use, but that's not a required one. That is just a sample licensee use of support personnel. But there's also very limited duties that an unlicensed assistant. Karie, do you have your license? You are licensed.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So Karie's interaction with the public is not limited like it would be for an unlicensed assistant. Karie, I'll send you that whole package that I have so you can see. So you
perfect.
You don't have to use that GAR contract. If you don't have one though, that's one that you can use that does stay in compliance, help the agency.
Okay, perfect. Absolutely, thank you. I will certainly, because I knew about that, and I just want to make sure that we keep all the agents in compliance, on that regard.
Okay, does anyone have anything they'd like to add before we close? I just want to quickly, because of time, I went ahead and did the drawings. And Monica, you won these two really cute books, Life Lessons from the Dog and Life Lessons from the Cat. This is for Monica. Becca, you want a bottle of wine. Here's your bottle of wine. Cindy, you want a bottle of wine. It has, look, L-A-C-O-R-N-A-D-A. So that's for Cindy. And Andrew won this hummingbird feeder. And Stefan, I'll get you a bottle. I had 4, but I'll pick up another bottle of wine so everybody will have a prize today. Okay? So look at this bottle of wine you got, Cindy. You always get wine.
We can't see it.
No, she can hear me. Okay. So, does anyone have anything else they want to say? If not, I'm going to let John pray us out. Since we don't have Howard here, I'll let John.Bohannon pray us out. And I look forward to seeing everybody in September. I'm going to have on my roll tide. You know that.
Yeah, we do know that.
Thank you, Karlene. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Dana. And thank you, John. Thank you, everybody. It was great to see you. Sorry, I was obscured. I just worked out. And
I knew you were here, though. That's the important thing.
Yeah.
I got you a bottle of wine coming, girl.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It was nice seeing you guys.
Thank you. Okay, John, let you pray us out, honey.
Okay. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this meeting. Thank you for the blessing on our country. Lord, thank you that the COVID virus is diminishing, Lord, and that our business has just continued to grow. Lord, I pray you would continue to bless every agent that's here and the ones that are not here. Lord, bless them with inspired ideas and great connections to continue to grow their business and serve more people. Lord, I thank you for the new office that's going to be built, and I pray that you would just give David and the contractors great wisdom and great favor with the county officials on making that thing go smooth, and that there would be no disruptions to the agents, and that it would just bless the community and all of the agents, Lord. Thank you so much for Dana, and I pray you just continue to bless her in all of the things that she's doing. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
all right.
Good day.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.